Welcome to Dental Decoders, where we're cracking the code on all things dental operations. I'm your host, Brittany, and I'm joined by my co-host, Rebecca.
Each week, we'll dive into topics to help your dental practice streamline operations, overcome roadblocks, and reduce team burnout.
Whether you're a practice owner or an office manager or a team member looking for ways to improve your office, this podcast is for you.
We'll bring you insightful discussions, engaging interviews, as well as mini episodes packed with practical tips.
So sit back and relax as we dive into all things operations together.
Today, we are thrilled to have with us my very own co-host, Brittany Rogars, who is not just the voice behind the podcast, but a dynamic force in the world of dentistry. Brittany's journey in dentistry is nothing short of remarkable. From her humble beginnings as a gas station cook to her pivotal role at the front desk of a dental office, she's a testament to where passion and perseverance can lead you. In this episode, Brittany opens up about her accidental yet fateful entry into dentistry and how she climbed the ladder to become a revered revenue cycle management specialist. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. She channeled her expertise into founding SKF Practice Solutions. She dives deep into the significance of customer service in dentistry and the strategic hiring from outside the dental field. As an entrepreneur, Brittany has navigated the complexities of software conversion, providing invaluable insights for those facing similar challenges. She emphasizes the power of having the right team in place and how it translates to a flourishing practice. Don't miss this episode, where Brittany shares her unique perspective on dentistry, team dynamics, and the joys of helping patients smile brighter. Connect with Brittany through her website at skfpracticesolutions.com and follow her journey on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Pinterest under SKF Practice Solutions. Outside the office, Brittany is a dedicated mom and a proud wife to a fellow entrepreneur. She loves singing to Taylor Swift tunes, albeit off-key, exploring new adventures with her family, and is always eager to learn more in her ever-evolving dental journey. Thanks for joining us this week. Yeah, thank you, Brittany. We're so glad you're here.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. We're really excited this week. Last week, Brittany was interviewing myself, and this week we're really excited to have the opportunity to hear more about Brittany and her exciting adventures and a journey through her career in dentistry. So, Brittany, go ahead and start us off and tell us a little bit about yourself.
For sure. So exciting adventures may have been a little bit of an oversell, but like you said, my name's Brittany. I have been in the dental industry for about 7 years now, if my math is mathing correctly. I started in the dental industry completely on a whim and completely underqualified. I sent in my resume to this position that I saw on Indeed or something. And at the time I worked at a gas station as a food line cook. So completely different industry, completely different realm. But I did have 10 years of management experience behind me already at that point. So I did have some leadership experience, but I was applying for a front desk position. About a week and a half after that job started, I realized we had our first full mouth restoration case. And I was like, oh my gosh, dentistry is going to be my thing forever. So I was able to then grow my role once I realized that this is something I was going to be in for the long haul. I was a revenue cycle management specialist. So I helped the office build a call center where we were able to centralize new patient phone calls, and all of the billing, all of the AR, all of the insurance was done centralized for all of the locations that we had. From there, I became an operations coordinator where I got to help with all of things operations for a little while. And then most recently, I started my own business where I do all of that and more for all of my wonderful clients. I work with open dental offices to help them streamline their systems and operations, utilize their software, and manage their revenue cycle.
I love that. I love that you've taken your passion for dentistry and streamlined it into your own business. I know that you help a number of offices. I see your name and hear a lot from offices that have utilized your services and have been incredibly impressed and speak very highly to you. And I know you have a team of people that also get to help you with some of these. I know you can't juggle that many hats all by yourself. And I know that you have some wonderful people that and work with you and behind the scenes to help you. I know that we talk a lot about the front desk team and how amazing that they are. Do you feel like that initial experience that you had in that gas station, and maybe some of that management experience, but ultimately customer service, generally speaking, has helped you in that transition into dentistry?
So definitely yes. Every single management job that I had before I started in dentistry was in retail. So I worked at pretty much every store in our local mall. The mall security guards used to always laugh when they'd come into a new store and be like, "Oh, Brittany's at this one too now." So I really loved customer service, and both of my parents were in retail management, so I just kind of assumed that that's where I was going to wind up, was in retail management, which is why in the dental world I so strongly encourage hiring outside of dentistry or people who may not have experience, because you're going to get people who have some of the best customer service anywhere. Some of my best hires have come from Starbucks and Chick-fil-A because they have that customer service mentality that you can't really beat anywhere else. And they're great people to have as your front lines. And then they're also really happy to be there. Like, dentistry has pretty good hours, pretty good pay, pretty good benefits, stuff that you don't get when you're working at a gas station or the mall and you have to be there every single holiday. So they're just really happy to be there, and they get to grow their skills and utilize that customer service so your patients are feeling really connected to them.
Thank you. I think I totally agree with you the same. There's so many positives to dentistry for sure. Would you agree with the people that say some people are have a really hard time with that hiring outside of dentistry? They feel like that training aspect is harder for someone who's never been in the dental field. But they do say sometimes that hiring for attitude is better than hiring for skill. Would you agree with that? And if so, can you elaborate on some of your experience since you basically came into the dentistry field in that realm?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like it's easy to teach dentistry. It's easy to teach dental insurance to someone who is a front desk role. Obviously, I'm not going to have an entry level, no skill dentist or hygienist, but if I'm working at the front desk, I can pick up the terms as I go. I mean, I did pick up the terms as I go. I used to have a tooth chart printed out next to my desk, so I knew like the tooth numbers and like the dummy terms. Dentistry for Dummies was like next to my computer. I picked it up as I went just fine. And because I had the customer service, the patients loved me. I felt like a very quick bond with all of our patients who came in because you see them regularly and you get to know them. And if I can come in and make you feel comfortable at the office, you're going to remember me. So we just were able to grow this kind of bond with our patients. And the dentistry came with time. So I definitely think that, yeah, it is harder to train them on the dental stuff. And I would also just say where you put someone really matters in that. I wouldn't put somebody on billing or insurance if they are entry level, but your phone calls for your new patients, having those conversations, answering the phone, being the front desk, like the first person they see when they walk in, all of those things, absolutely 100% could be someone without the dental experience.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of those people that have been servers or the greeters in busy, not retail, but restaurants and in those kind of positions, when they get to sit at your front desk and they see people come in, it's like they are the face of your office and they're just so bright and cheery and happy. I love putting people like that in those positions too. So I love that. Thank you so much. So tell me, for you, since you kind of transitioned in and weren't kind of born into it like some people have been, for you, what's like one of your favorite things about the dental industry? And if someone's listening today and they're kind of considering, I want to make a change in my career and I love customer service, dentistry for me, not for me, what have you loved or what's your favorite thing about it?
For sure. So I will start by just answering the easy question. What's my favorite thing? Like I said, my very first week, we had our first full mouth restoration case while I was there be completed. So I had obviously started when he was almost done with his case. But this man had just an incredible story, and I was there to check him out as he was walking out when that case was completed. And my goodness, if that's not the like sunshine in a moment, it's like the best feeling in the whole world when somebody comes out and they're like, look at what happened in my mouth. Like, look at this. And they're confident and they're glowing and they're loving it. It's an unbeatable feeling. And being a part of that, even in any way possible, like I didn't give him his teeth, but he was still appreciative to me, the person who answered the phone when he called and checked him in, checked him out. Any way that I can be a part of that is just, it's an amazing feeling. That's 100% my favorite thing in dentistry. Very closely followed by dentists, and dental professionals are like the most heart-centered human beings I've ever met in any industry before. Every single dentist you meet or dental professional you meet, it's in it for the same reason, because we like that feeling of giving the patient their full mouth restoration and watching them be confident. And we're all just very generous human beings in this industry. So you get to work with incredible people and make people feel good every day. So like, I don't know how you could possibly beat that.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people in the dental field are all about giving people.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love that you've been in the dental field and you took, I think we both have taken this leap into our own businesses, and probably for the same reason, right? To give back and to help people have that same passion like you were talking about in that day that you got to help the man with his full mouth restoration. So I'd love to hear what pushed you, I guess, into I want to have my own business, because it is a little scary to take that leap. But I'd love to hear if there was something out of the box or something unique, something that happened to you that said, I'm ready to take this leap and I want to open my own business.
I want to tell you this beautiful inspirational story. I really do. But I unfortunately don't have a beautiful, wonderful, inspirational story about why I became an entrepreneur. Why I started my own dental business was actually out of necessity. I had transitioned into this new role in a new practice, and it was not the right place for me. Our core values were not aligned. It was not a culture fit for me. And so I rage quit my job.
Do you want to expand on that? Rage quit?
I mean, I walked into the office and someone was yelling at me before I even like took my coat off. And I don't think that this is going to be the role for me. I was still relatively new, like a month I'd been there. And I was like, this is just, like, I'm an adult. I'm not going to get yelled at my work. If it doesn't bring me joy, I don't want to do it. So I quit. Then I got home and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? It's like, I don't have an income now, and I've got kids and a husband. And so I was like, well, I've been playing with this idea of being able to help offices on a larger scale for a while now. So I guess this is what we're doing. So I wouldn't necessarily say that there was this big like epiphany moment, so much as I was just really, really unhappy with my circumstances. And I figured it like, if this is where we're at, then I guess this is what the universe is telling me to do. So I put feelers out and immediately got busy. People were reaching out to me left and right to get open dental conversions and to do their billing. So I can tell that I was like in alignment with my goal, because it just kind of all fell together so nicely and it all worked out okay. Even if it did start as an, oh my goodness, now what type of situation.
Well, I know that's how you and I got connected, was open dental. Yes. And also our passion and love for the ADOM connection there as well. So I appreciate you sharing, because I'm sure that there are people that are watching that are like, oh, I almost did that today. I almost rage quit myself and walked out as well. So appreciate you sharing and being really vulnerable about that as well. I know that you, and we've shared this quite a few times, I do send a lot of people to your business for that reason. I think that you really dove into open dental. I think that probably more than anyone else out there that I know of when it comes to open dental. And I appreciate your willingness that when we first met, I had a lot of questions and you were always so willing to just jump in and help me out. And I always appreciated that. You're a very giving and compassionate person. So appreciate that about you as well. So anyone who's watching and you're looking for that open dental connection, Brittany is your gal. As you've worked with offices and with different dentists and people either staying with open dental and just needing some support and help, and those that have made a transition from a PMS system into open dental, what would you say are some of the biggest struggles that some of the offices have faced? And how have you helped them overcome some of those hurdles? So if there's anyone watching today, they know something that would be helpful for them moving forward.
That is a fantastic question. And also thank you for all of the love and praise. I appreciate that so much. I also don't think I'm the best at open dental ever. So I want to just say that if anybody who works for open dental is listening, I'm sorry. But I will say that I help with a lot of conversion, which is in and of itself a very stressful situation. If you've ever been through a software conversion, someone's going to cry. It's stressful. But I like to come in, and I'm very much myself when I'm working with my clients. I like to crack jokes and be kind of silly and goofy. And we're here and it's happening. So let's make light of it as best as possible. What offices struggle with, I think the number one thing really is just team member mentality going into a shift like that. They've used their software for so long. They're so comfortable with it. They know it inside out and backwards. When it's time to like flip your whole world upside down and try this new software, it's scary. And that team member resistance is a very difficult piece to the puzzle. Yeah, there are parts of the software that people struggle with. The accounting functions are fantastic, but they're very different than anywhere else. But at the end of the day, I can, just like bringing in someone who's never been in dentistry before, I can teach you how to use a software. I just have to help you get to a point where you want to learn the software. Once we get past those like mental barriers and we get over those roadblocks, then it's smooth sailing. So I like to just go into it as like lighthearted as possible. I bribe everybody with gift cards and goodies because if you make it a little bit of a contest, everyone wants to participate a little bit more, and bribery always works. So
I remember that.
Yeah, that's my key takeaway for open dental conversion. Any software conversion or big transition,
any change,
is flattery and bribery. And just when they see you as a leader get stressed, they're going to be even more stressed. So just kind of roll with the punches and let it, like, it's going to be okay. And as long as we all know that and we can smile along the way, it's going to be even faster that it gets to that point. So,
and they always have you to call after you leave.
And they do. They call. Yes.
Well, Brittany, it's always nice to chat with you. And I always love hearing stories of fun things that you've done and ideas that you give to your offices. I know that, like I've, continued to say through our podcast, I know you've been a good support to a lot of people. I know we've talked a lot about the open dental side of your business. I'd like to hear kind of what the other half of your business essentially is, and how you do both pieces for your clients, because I know you do some of the revenue cycle management side as well for offices that are needing some of that support. As we talked last week about finding really good front desk help, as it has been hard this year. And so when you're with your team, I know they've been going in and helping offices. Can you kind of talk about those that are in the background for you, helping with some of this revenue cycle management for your offices as the other side of your business?
Yeah, for sure. So my revenue cycle management side really was where I kind of assumed that I was going to wind up, and that was going to be my full business model. But it has organically branched out into more so this open dental training piece. Really, I like to think of SKF Practice Solutions as the open dental optimization group, and we try and do that however we can. And sometimes that does mean handling the revenue cycle. That's one of my favorite things to do, is watch that outstanding claims list or the patient AR list just get smaller and smaller every month. So it's fun, and it is really helpful for the practices, especially in the staffing crisis that we're in right now. Finding good help is hard. And like I said before, you can bring someone in who's got no dental experience, but they can't do your billing. They can't do your accounts receivable. They can't necessarily do insurance verifications because they don't know what it all means just yet. So in the interim, while offices are transitioning, or even offices that are growing and are trying to centralize, my team can come in and do full service revenue cycle management. Everyone on my team is incredibly skilled. They have tons of knowledge. We're all based here in the States. We have team members who are bilingual as well. So they get to help with the offices who may need bilingual speakers, which is fantastic.
That is such a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone on the team is hyper focused on Open Dental too. It's the only software that we work with. So that allows me to really train everyone on my team on the ins and the outs of Open Dental software. Everyone who works for me also has Open Dental experience from before they came to work with me. So we're all really super in tune with the software. We also do tons of CE to keep up on that billing side, so we can help you guys who are in the practice on the front lines worry about your patients while we're doing all the pain in the neck stuff like the insurance verifications or sending out the statements or posting the payments, following up on those claims, the stuff that takes away from your patient experience if you have to try and divide your focus on all of those things. So we really help you optimize the software and optimize your systems in the office by outsourcing with us on the RCM side.
That's so great. You've got a really great team. And I know that we'll put your information, of course, at the end of the podcast for anyone who's looking to find your business to reach out to and utilize your amazing team to help offices that might need some assistance too. So as we know, at the end of our podcast, we always like to ask our famous question to get more insight and fun ideas for people that are listening. So as we wrap up our episode today on Dental Decoders, I'd like to ask you to share your decoding moment with us, or a single valuable lesson or secret code that you've unraveled in the dental industry and has been a game changer for you in your practice or in your career you'd like to share with our listeners.
My decoding moment or my secret code, really, even when I was in the office, has always been using people where they are best suited to be. And even if that means bringing in an outsourcing team. So when I worked at a practice, when I started at my very first dental practice, it was one location. And we were trying to kind of balance everybody who was doing what at the front desk and divide up those duties. And having people in the wrong chair was a headache. It was terrible. Once we started to grow, we soon realized that we have to put the right people in the right chairs. And that's how I got shifted away from the front desk and into the RCM side. I started building that team, and that team did involve outsourcing to a company that was not based here in the States as well. And that was having a team to verify insurances, and that's all they did all day long. And I didn't have to worry about it anymore. It made my job so much easier. So I really think the secret code for me is putting people in the right seats. And then when you don't have someone that's right for that seat, outsource it. Anything that you can take off your plate and so you can focus on higher level stuff, outsource it.
It's also another fantastic secret code that a lot of us learn in management. So thank you for sharing that with us today. For those of you listening, we hope you've taken something away magnificent and something that's been helpful for you. And as always, you can reach out to Brittany at SKF Practice Solutions, and she would love to help you. Thanks for sharing with us today, Brittany. It's always nice chatting with you.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Dental Decoders.
We hope you'll take away something new and useful from this episode.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to rate, share, and subscribe.
We look forward to seeing you next week.